Hello everyone, my name is Laquan Williams, and for this video topic I wanted to discuss the subject of the review for last night's Superman and Lois episode, which was Season 1, Episode 5. Um, so, last night's episode we saw Leslie, Lar, and Derek, who are basically Inhumans that are working for Morgan Edge. They have superhuman abilities and powers. They were a part of his team. They're his henchmen. They took on Superman. But he only fought Derek because he decided to fly and leave their lab that they were at in the air, and he took them on. We saw that. We also saw Captain Luther introduce himself into obviously the story as far as him being a civilian now, well, acting like a civilian and posing as a reporter, and he interacted with Lois Lane. He was trying to question her about obviously her whole situation, an ordeal with doing stories on Superman and whatnot. He was trying to pretend that he wanted to help her with a story to take down Morgan Edge because she knows that he's trying to get he knows that she's trying to take down Morgan Edge, obviously from ruining Smallville and taking the city over slash town, obviously with all of his money and corrupt influences, which is some type of X-kryptonite that he has found and that he knew that was stored there to help build this type of super army of metahumans, such as obviously bad guys, which obviously are Leslie, Lar, and Derek, and whoever else can help him to take obviously down Superman, obviously destroy the city slash town of Smallville and anywhere else, obviously like Metropolis as well. We saw that. We also saw Superman's sons, obviously more interactions with him in school. They're both coming into their own characters now. Them both play on the football team, and them obviously dealing with that life and adjusting to Smallville. Even though they want to go back to Metropolis because they weren't born and raised in Smallville like Superman was, their dad Clark Kent, so they don't want to stay there. They want to go back to obviously the bigger city. So, and they had this big huge festival of that they had with a gathering of obviously the rest of the town to come together and basically have a big huge celebration and whatnot, and then obviously people give each other gifts. So we saw that. We saw Superman save the bunch of firemen when one of the buildings that was about to collapse, where they were having a donation drive, but he did it pretty fast. He did it without his suit on. Actually, he just ran in there really fast and saved the firemen. He blew ice smoke from his mouth to cool the place down so the fire wouldn't continue to grow and commence. Obviously the flames building up, so he did that and he saved those guys. Derek, who was a missing guy, came back obviously, but it looks like his mom and him were paid off by Morgan Edge to tell Lois Lane a bunch of lies so she wouldn't continue to dig deeper into their story, obviously. But him coming back was obviously a big problem because he obviously has metahuman enhancements. He has abilities, and he decided to leave his mom and tell her that he couldn't come back anymore because he needs some space. So that obviously was a lie, and he has having headaches and withdrawals from apparently the new powers that he's gotten, and he's still adjusting and dealing with them. He was put into a big, huge CAT scan type of chamber with Leslie Lar, who also works for Morgan Edge, to go through and check to see if his powers and make sure he was okay. And she told him that he wouldn't have to deal with any problems anymore, and the effects of him jittering and just shaking wouldn't happen again. So he wouldn't have to deal with that. Like I said, we also saw Captain Luther introduce himself to Lois Lane, and we learned that in a different timeline in his world that was destroyed by Superman then, which was obviously a villain type bad version of Superman, he was with actually Lois Lane, so he's obviously very jealous that she is with Superman in this timeline and not with him, and obviously he's alone, so he's jealous of that, even though there's the current Superman and Lois on Earth 3, I think, in this timeline, based off what happened on the Crisis on Infinite Earths situation and crossover last year, with all the superheroes from the CW, the Green Arrow team, Team Flash, the DC Legends of Tomorrow, and Black Lightning and his family. So because of that, obviously, lots of things changed, and lots of people were lost and disappeared. Lots of people did come back, but not everybody did, obviously. So that's what happened. we really didn't see we also saw obviously Captain Luther trying to play catch up with Superman, and obviously Derek, and he shot at both of them in the air, but he's obviously hell bent on taking down Superman. And like I said, obviously he'll probably have some help from Lois Lane's dad, who was obviously a general and colonel in the war. He's similar to General Thunderbolt Ross, who is in the Hulk series, just like Betty Ross. She's just similar to Lois Lane's similar to Betty Ross, where her father is obviously very much hawkish when it comes to telling keeping the family together and telling everybody what to do. And obviously the main reason they're very much alike is they don't like Superman and the Hulk. The choices that their daughters made to get with these guys who are superheroes, obviously they don't like that, obviously. And it's looking like he has made a contingency plan, which would be to throw some type of, I don't know, weapon or launch some type of attack on Superman if he ever disobeyed him specifically in some type of incident. With some type of incident taking place or some type of situation that he didn't like, obviously. And that's what I can see happening with Captain Luther going to the general and telling him that he can help him. And if he obviously that was a case, that was a situation that was posed obviously weeks ago, and I believe it was episode 2, if I'm not mistaken, or 3 maybe. I'm trying to remember, but yes, that's a possibility that could happen in the near future, and we'll see what happens with that. On this article that was put out yesterday, on March 23rd by comicbookmovie.com, we see a preview of what's going to happen in the next Superman and Lois episode, which is season 1, episode 6. And it's titled "Smells Like Teen Spirit." The same title of the big, huge, famous song by the band Nirvana, which had obviously Dave Grohl in it and Kurt Cobain. It says, following yet another stellar installment, Superman and Lois now heads into an early spring hiatus, and they won't return until mid-May. Luckily, the CW has provided a sneak peek for what to expect. There's a video preview at the bottom of this by tvpromos.com. They have a YouTube channel, and that's where they post. They have a bunch of trailers that they post on there for different TV shows. You can watch it on their YouTube channel or watch it on here. It says, due to a prior COVID-related production shutdown, tonight's installment of Superman and Lois will be the last new installment of the series until May 18th, as the show heads into an early mid-season hiatus. Luckily, there will be fresh Kryptonian adventures to keep you busy, as Supergirl will be back on March 30th with its long-awaited 6th and final season premiere. While the CW doesn't necessarily always provide promos for mid-season premieres, they've been an exception this time and have provided an early look at what's to come in episode 6, as Jordan Kent runs into some complications with his powers to hide them from his father, which only leads to more trouble when General Lane, which is obviously Lois Lane's dad, and his forces come after him. So there's really not much to go on, but the promo also seemingly teases a team up between Lois Lane and Lana Lang, which should make for an interesting dynamic as the pair presumably take on the sinister dealings of Morgan Edge. And you can check it out obviously here. It'll be out next on May 18th. So that's gonna be out probably 4 to maybe let's see, maybe 4 to 5 weeks from now. Let me see. Let's see. No, it's probably about, I'd say about 5 to 6 weeks, something around there. Yeah. So we'll see what happens. Obviously, it's a break. So that's what happened. There was some type of COVID-19 scare during the production. So some staff members and maybe some crew members got sick. So they shut that down. So far, that's all the episodes that they have shown so far, which is 5 of them. Extended versions of the first 5 episodes will be on the CW.com website or the CW app. We can watch them on the CW network, which is the channel that all these DC shows are on, for like the Green Arrow, the Flash, Black Lightning, Supergirl, Stargirl, and Batwoman, and Supernatural as well. So we'll see what happens with that. That's basically it. Yeah, I had fun enjoying the episode. It was pretty interesting. Last week's episode was cool, but I think let's see. Well, last week's was cool. This one was a little bit better. I like the family-oriented goals that they had for bringing the town together and putting a memorial out there on a bench for Superman's obviously mother. So we'll see what happens with that. It was pretty cool. I liked it. It was interesting. But I would say my favorite episode so far is obviously, I think it was the second episode. Was it the first or the second? Wait, no. Captain Luther. He fought Captain Luther in the first episode. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken. He did in the second, but those are my favorite sequences / scenes when they're fighting together, because it's just very intense and cool. Last week's was cool. He caught this obviously guy trying to escape from jail, and he took him down. After he did get escaped from jail, but I think that was Thaddeus, I believe. He got out of jail. He broke out. That he obviously had to Superman had to take him down, put him back in jail, obviously because he escaped. He was supposed to be there for the prisoner transfer, but he didn't. He instead took the time to go help his sons out instead, and I believe that's what happened. He missed that time. So we'll see what happens with that. But the show's been pretty cool. I like it. It's been very fun and enjoying. Obviously, it's much obviously different from the other CW shows, whereas it's first off a family-oriented ordeal. That wasn't the case with Green Arrow, obviously, and DC Legends, because they were all different characters and they had to get together and join each other, and then obviously they had a common goal. That was the case with Green Arrow and DC Legends at first, because they obviously had separate families and they're different characters. This is just basically just like, it's similar to Black Lightning, obviously, because it's a family-oriented show right off the bat. But this is obviously much different, because when you first met Superman and Lois, they had no kids, obviously, in Crisis on Infinite Earths. But years later, when they have their own separate solo show, they have teenage boys. So it was obviously years in the timeline that changed and sped up that whole process. So that's what's been happening. So we'll see what happens with that. Next episode will be for about another 6 weeks now. And between now and then, Supergirl's last season, the last season of Supergirl, which is their sixth one. There's six seasons. This sixth one's gonna be the last one. We'll see what happens with that. Obviously, I was basically waiting it, and obviously, if people are gonna be watching that, obviously final season, that's gonna be over. Black Lightning on the CW is about to be over too. I'm hearing that Batwoman's about to be canceled, if I'm not mistaken. The cancellation of I don't know what's going on with that. The CW situation with those shows, and them not picking up certain shows like the Green Arrow and the Canaries. Obviously, Constantine having his own, played by Matt Ryan, having his own solo show on the network. So we'll see what happens with that. It's very interesting, but like I said, we'll see what happens, obviously. So in the next team up that they have before the year is over, crossover, what's that gonna be called? Hopefully that still takes place before this year is over. So we'll see what happens with that. Thanks again for watching. Let me know what you have to think about Superman and Lois. Have you been watching it? Have you skipped a couple episodes? Have you not checked it out yet? Tell me what you think. Obviously, this is a different version of Superman. If you like this one, or you prefer the Henry Cavill version of the movies, it's obviously a different take on obviously Superman. Obviously, because they have family, obviously, and teenagers. The Henry Cavill version doesn't have that yet. I'd say the next time if he has a movie with him and Lois Lane, we'll have their first kid obviously being born. It was teased in the Snyder cut that Lois Lane was checking her pregnancy to see if she had a kid with a pregnancy test in her drawer when she was looking for her old badge at the Daily Planet. So we'll see what happens with that obviously in the future, and that it's still connected because it's DC in a way, still obviously. So we'll see what happens with that. Thanks again for watching. Let me know what you have to think about this episode and the TV show obviously as well, which is Superman and Lois on the CW network. Thank you for watching. Thanks. Bye.